The road behind Black Pine. In northern Maine, near the small town of Ashford Creek, there was a road hidden behind the Black Pine forest. Locals never used its real name. They simply called it the road behind the woods. Nobody entered that road after sunset. Except people who did not know the stories. And that was how Ethan Miller became part of the legend. Ethan was a freelance journalist from Boston. He specialized in disappearances, abandoned towns, and unexplained mysteries. One day he received an anonymous email. It contained only one sentence. Come to Ashford Creek. Ask about the vehicles that disappear behind Black Pine. Attached was an old photograph of a blue pickup truck. The truck stood alone on a foggy dirt road. The driver's door was open. But nobody was inside. In the distance stood a tall figure among the trees. The figure looked wrong. Its neck was too long. Its body seemed unnaturally tall. A week later, Ethan drove to Ashford Creek. He arrived shortly before sunset. The town was small, cold, and strangely quiet. He stopped at Martha's Diner. When he asked about Black Pine, the entire diner fell silent. A man warned him to leave before 7 o'clock. Ethan ignored the warning. He rented a room at a nearby motel. The owner, Linda, had lost her son Caleb years earlier. Caleb vanished on the Black Pine Road with 3 friends. Their car was found. They were never seen again. That night, Ethan heard 3 knocks at his motel door. When he looked outside, nobody was there. Then the knocking came from the window. A pale hand rested against the glass. A voice spoke from outside. Please let me in. I am cold. The voice claimed to be Caleb. It warned Ethan not to turn around if he heard familiar voices in the forest. The next day Ethan researched decades of disappearances. All of them were connected to the same road. Cars remained behind. People vanished forever. He discovered an old journal written by a priest. The priest warned that something lived in the forest. It copied the voices of the dead. It lured travelers deeper into the darkness. That evening Ethan drove into Black Pine. The GPS failed after only a few minutes. The forest became unnaturally silent. Then he found the blue pickup truck from the photograph. It looked brand new despite disappearing decades earlier. The radio suddenly spoke. Do not stand outside the road. A faceless man appeared between the trees. It had no eyes. It had no nose. Only a mouth. Then it spoke using Linda's voice. Moments later it used the voice of Ethan's dead mother. Ethan fled in terror. The road seemed endless. Time no longer made sense. His satellite phone rang. The caller sounded exactly like Ethan. The voice warned him about a woman ahead. "10 minutes later he found her. A frightened woman stood beside a cabin asking for help. Ethan remembered the warning and kept driving. Then he heard a child crying in the back seat. The voice begged him to look. He refused. Later he saw Linda standing in the middle of the road. She begged him to open the door. When he questioned her, her smile split unnaturally wide. Something wearing Linda's face attacked the vehicle. Ethan escaped again. Eventually he reached an abandoned church deep inside the forest. There he found the missing final page of the priest's journal. The journal revealed the truth. The thing in the forest fed on memories. It stole voices. It wore the faces of the dead. It turned victims into new lures. Every lost soul became another voice calling from the darkness. Then Ethan heard them. The missing hunters. The vanished families. Caleb. Even his own mother. They all called his name. They begged him to come closer. But Ethan refused. He fired a flare gun and ran. The forest screamed around him. Hundreds of voices echoed through the trees. They called his name again and again. At last he saw lights ahead. He believed he had escaped. He reached Ashford Creek once more. But the sheriff looked frightened. He asked Ethan a single question. Did you hear your own voice? Ethan realized he had. The sheriff knew what that meant. The forest had already remembered him. A nearby telephone began ringing. When it was answered, Ethan's voice came from the receiver. Do not shoot. I am still me. But the voice coming from Ethan's own mouth was no longer his. It was his mother's voice. The sheriff pulled the trigger. Three days later Ethan's vehicle was discovered on the Black Pine Road. The recorder inside still worked. In the final moments of the recording, 3 knocks could be heard. Then Ethan whispered one last warning. Do not come to Ashford Creek. A pause followed. Then he laughed. Or come after dark. I will show you the way. To this day, travelers sometimes see a pale man at the edge of town. He points toward the Black Pine Road. He always smiles. And in the rearview mirror, his face is gone. Only the mouth remains.